This program is rated PG. It contains themes and scenes which may not be suitable for very young audiences. Parental guidance is advised.
Be advised that the views and opinions of the hosts and guests do not reflect those of the station.
You are what you watch.
Hello, my name is Tambuatco. Welcome to our program. In the last 2 weeks, we have noticed a number of religious processions, if that's what we want to call it. Now, on another note, let me point out, what is mob rule and what is popular? If what is popular should be followed, wow, why have rule of law? The concept of discipline is difficult to understand when one is restrained. It is easy to be disciplined if you wish to follow the rules and if you abide by it because it's to one's favor. Now, let's put both together. What exactly is this all about? In the last 2 weeks, we've seen, well, at the first, we have the Black Nazarene. I call this mob rule. I've posted this on my webpage. And I cringe every year when I see people jumping on top of each other. I sometimes call it idolatry. Not false, because I'm Catholic and I abide by it. I'm not born again, I'm neither left or right, but I study and abide what I learned from grade school all the way up today. Yeah. Now, I don't think jumping on top of each other is such a good idea. I'm not sure I like the idea of towels, public towels at that, wiping it on a piece of wood, blessed or not blessed, and throwing to a crowd that's jeering and totally out of control. And yet 3 to 5 days later, we have the solemn procession with people with candles praying. You can see the rosary beads in their hands, but they're carrying statues, wiping them, clothing them, with merchandise being sold from 10 pesos to 200 or 300 pesos, clothing them as if it was their pet, walking down but then ending up in the church with prayer. At least they're not jumping on top of each other. And then in the South, we see what we call one with the ati-atihan, where people gyrate, travel there to get drunk, only to end up in a church with prayer. I know, because I went down there when I was a teenager, and I did enjoy it. The getting drunk part, I had a hard time in the morning because of the local brew. And then you go a couple of days later, which we will see next week, of which we just saw, I think, a couple of days back, where people wear Roman costumes and elaborate on the streets as if it is a procession, vivid with color, masquerading, all in the name of God. Ladies and gentlemen, hindi ako sigurado kasi kung gusto ko birahin, pero alam nyo, umiinit po ang dugo ko tuwing nakikita ko yung pagka-mob rule. Just because it's popular does not make it right. And ang tawag dyan, pag nagiging practice na, nagiging taon-taon, parang lumalala. And who best to discuss these issues but two very close people who's close to us in the studio. We have one who is a host of one of the shows here. It's called Medical Dilemma. We have Father Jerry MANLANGIT, order preacher, and now he's with the Santo Domingo Church. He's a bioethicist. And we also have Father RODEL ALIGAN, who is the former dean in the University of Santo Tomas for the Sacred Theology. Ayan, di nyo na pa ako pwede fault na, Ari, masyado kang mapersonal and subjective. Father, thank you very much for being here. I guess I need to turn over the mic naman to you. Father, kayo muna, Father Jerry. How would you react to that opening statement of mine?
Well, first of all, we have to understand that all of us, human beings, are linguistic and symbolic beings. We communicate through the language that we know, and we concretize it through symbols. Even the words that we speak, they are symbols. The gestures, the actions that we do, even the way we walk, or even the way we show our faces. These are symbols of things that are inside us. And whenever we express something, we express it through symbols. When I ask you, for example, can you give me a glass of water?
I would answer with my eyes.
Yes, that's right.
Or
I communicated through a symbol, through the verbal word. Okay? In the same way, whenever people would like to express themselves through other things like this religiosity or devotion to the Nazareno, they do it by way of symbols. When they go there, they, for example, wear shirt which colored ruby, I think, ruby, or something like that, with all the scribblings there, or whatever you say there.
I call it
They
burloloy.
or
But
something
yes, go
like
ahead.
that, yes. And then they bring with them images of the Nazareno. Sometimes they go there without slippers or shoes. These are symbols to be able to communicate what they know of the kind of religiosity that they have.
So expression.
Expression of the religiosity.
Okay. Kayo, Father Rodel.
Well,
Symbols, huh?
Yes,
Symbols. I put it simply as, popular religiosity would be a kind of a religiosity that is outside of what the church actually practices, the liturgy. Meaning to say, you have the Mass, you have the sacraments, no? You have sacramentals, no? But seemingly, people are not satisfied with this because they have Western trappings. So, religion, you have to feel it, no? It's not simply a matter of having faith, but faith that has to be expressed by a particular culture. And for the Filipino, the ordinary masses, no, they seem not Filipino. Or even the sacraments, they seem not Filipino unless you try to indigenize it. And so there has to be certain other expressions, no, by which they express their faith. So thus you have the images or what, no. As Cardinal Tagle places it, no, simply he says, how do you explain a people who have lost hope, many other things, no, and they have no one to go to except the Nazareno or to Christ or what?
Okay. Allow me to rebuttal.
Yeah.
Tama ba yun may namamatay taon-taon? Itong taon, 2 namatay. Malay natin kung ilan nasugatan sa bubog kasi sa pagtatapak sa nakayapak. Ang kalye hindi naman ganun kalinis na they sweep down. And yet the practice, or what I call the mob rule, is so different from what we practice when we walk into the church. There is solemnity in prayer.
Yes.
Diba? There is also a sense of silence. Sometimes when I watch people in front of me when we're praying, some churches we have prayer, some singing. It helps you. Singing is a part of prayer. The words are very much the prayer, but people express it. And I understand because there's a lot of emotion in song. But when you start swaying, I'm not sure sakay ako dyan. No, because why is it in the very same breath, in the very same area, in the same district of Manila, one in Quiapo and one a stone's throw into Tondo, the procession of the Santo Niño is orderly with candles and maayos ang lakaran. Of course, there's a problem. I have a problem with those statues. Nahihirapan ako eh. Di ba, idolatry? It's praying to Jesus and praying to God and Saint Joseph. We see all these icons in church. And I don't belittle this. But to carry it, this is my own, to dress it up, put fancy clothes, and to succumb to merchandising. Was it not Jesus in his lifetime in the Bible that threw them all out in the synagogue or in the church because they were all inside peddling all kinds of wares? Diba? We have this in one of the sermons throughout the year. We paulit-ulit yung mga sermons naman is about the Bible. And yet, we practice it. The gyrating in ati-atihan with booze and grog.
Yes.
Yung todo, gumagano, falling the street, barfing everywhere, dancing to the beat of the drums as if we are, diba? I mean, it can't be right. I went. I didn't even know it was a religious procession, the ati-atihan, until I got much older. Akala ko, lasingan lang yan na pwede on the streets. It's even against the law to drink liquor on the street, much less serve teenagers and those below 18. And yet we do it, and everybody knows it. Diba? How would you rebuttal that?
Well, as years went by, in the practice of our religion, which began with, well, of course, with solemnity, with prayer, silence, that lifts the soul and the heart to God. There are things that people who probably not so educated for that matter have put other elements into it.
To allow them to get involved? We've allowed them this practice so they get closer because they can't practice solemnity?
Not really, no. As a matter of fact, when they put some elements which are extraneous to what should be there, then there is where we find some disorderliness and some excesses. That sometimes you cannot anymore distinguish which is which. For example, the Nazareno, you go there, you do procession. And people put a lot of emotions into it.
Pero tama
Which,
yun?
I don't think...
You mean it's acceptable?
I don't think it is right because they go to excesses. And that is what is, for example, denunciable. Because when they put some excesses into what it should be, more than what should be there, then there is where we can see chaos.
Yeah.
Okay.
But we can't allow death.
Yes, we can't allow it.
Every year may namamatay.
That's right.
Ngayon may nanamatay na naman
That's
dalawa.
right, there is already. There are
Ilang
two.
daan kaya nasaktan, nasugatan, nagdugo sa paa kasi sa kakalakad.
Yeah.
Yung tulakan.
Right.
Actually, it's no longer civil. It is not
It's
civil.
chaotic. It's chaotic.
It's extreme chaos.
Yeah.
Bakit pinapayagan ng simbahan?
Well,
Kung sa Quiapo, ano pa naman yan ni Father Tagle, di ba?
Right,
No,
right.
Bishop
Bishop
Tagle,
Tagle.
Cardinal Tagle.
Yes.
Kung ano niya yan area niya yan.
Yes.
Bakit pinapayagan?
yung una, gawin natin example lang Nazareno. You would notice that every year, mas dumadami yung tao.
But does that
In
make it
spot
right?
by namamatay.
The
So,
tyranny of a majority.
we're not-
This is what Congress is. Just because there's more of them,
Okay.
Noynoy has decided to get stronger.
So
It doesn't make him correct.
I can't really judge the people, but everyone who goes there has his own story to tell in his relationship with God, right?
That I'll agree with.
Yeah. And so, even if you ban all these things, it still would happen.
No, hang on.
Right?
If we didn't allow the Nazareno to be paraded and didn't put that thick rope in the rear and in the front,
Still, it
no,
would...
then it won't. All year
Ganun
round,
pa rin.
ando doon yung statwa ni
Yes.
Nazareno.
Nazareno.
All year. I know. I
Yeah,
gone
right.
to Quiapo Church and I
Right.
pray.
Yes.
Right.
Now, it's there all year, but that one time of the year, I want to hurt somebody else.
No, I don't think that
They
it is
don't
their
intend.
intention.
That's not
I
the
don't think that
intention.
it is their intention
And even
to hurt
if,
someone or something
Jerry,
like this.
if somebody dies, well,
Kaya sira-sira.
it's part of...
It's
some
part
people,
of religiosity.
some people would say, but not really, you don't intend it, but it happens.
But it can't be correct. A wrong
It can be
act
correct.
stays
Yeah,
wrong.
as far as I'm concerned, it can be correct that people die there.
Mali,
or
di ba?
Mali talaga. It's something with...
Mali.
But
you don't agree.
The two people who died there suffered a heart attack.
Agreed, but because of the stress,
Right.
no,
The
because
stress.
of the high
Yeah.
density of people, the pushing, and for whatever reason. To
But
begin with,
you-
that person should not have been there.
But you ask the family members, they accept it.
I
Right,
wonder if
right.
that who died, which they never speak,
Yes,
because the
yes.
dead they tell no tales.
Yeah.
Kung di lang siya pumunta, baka buhay pa siya.
Pupunta talaga siya.
No, but it can't be correct.
Yeah.
I don't. I'm trying very difficult. I'm not
Yeah.
I'm not against the church. In fact, I follow it. I live my life with it. I am not a critic of the church. In fact, takot ako sa simbahan. Takot ako sa Diyos.
Oh, yes.
Pero yung nakikita kong ganyan, hindi tama yan. Hindi tama yan. Number one, you can no longer observe the Nazareno because people are on top of it, climbing on top
right,
of it,
that's
trying
right,
to
that's
stay
right.
up. When that thing is moving,
Right.
it's a dangerous thing. And the law allows it. What happened to discipline? What happened to
Of
rule
course,
of law?
the church will not allow it.
The church
it's just
can-
that the people are too venturous and too daring that they want to go there. Probably they are moved by the emotion that they have and thinking that if they are able to go there, they have achieved something. But
Yeah.
as far as the church is concerned, that should not have been.
Pero ang daming pari po
Yeah,
father
yeah.
na sumasali.
Okay,
Right.
totoo yan, totoo yan. Totoo
Sila
yan,
nga
totoo yan.
nagsasalita sa media, nakikita
Oo.
mo,
Right.
sila ini-interview ng Channel 2, Channel 7, kung
But
ano
actually, they don't
sinasabi.
encourage this.
The church can put some rules, no? But
Yeah.
but to discourage people from doing that, or I think that's beyond us. I think no, it's part of the Filipinos' faith. For example, many would clamber over there to get simply touch. There's even a sequence there that if you would be part of the procession, you have to know when the foot should be there or what.
There seems to be a sequence
There's a
or
sequence
cadence.
actually, no?
Right, they do that.
For
And
example,
there is an
for-
instruction to that
yeah,
matter.
For example, no, if you climb the Nazareno, no, then you do like that. When you fall, somebody would catch you. You know, there's a long history in this and all these things, no? I've mentored two theses about the Nazareno. All these things would come out.
Okay,
no?
Father, we're going to have to take a short break. The reason I smile is because somehow I cannot comprehend.
Yeah.
Because I try to use my mind when I should be more considerate and to use my heart. Because after all, the whole devotion is
Yeah.
for God.
Yeah.
I agree with that. But somehow civility, education, has held me back to act accordingly in public and together with the public.
Yes.
I find it very difficult to stand beside
That's right.
somebody and I'm sweating, he's sweating, and we're both bareback, and yet we're both men side by side. As much as I have difficulty watching two wrestlers try to grab each other, supposedly to hurt each other, but they're always forever embracing each other in sweat. I find this difficult. But then again, that's just me.
Yeah.
Popularity does not mean it should be practiced. The tyranny of the majority is a strategy.
Yeah.
It should remain that. It should not necessarily become what public opinion is,
Okay.
as it is. Stay with us and bear with my difficulty in trying to understand this, and let's try to get through this. We'll be right back.
Okay.